Hi, this is Joe Feeks, editor of Pig Health Today, and with me is Dr. Jose Angulo. He is a technical services veterinarian and a PRRS specialist from Zoetis. Jose, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you've been studying PRRS a long time, and I understand that you are a big advocate of vaccinating pigs early. Why is that?
Yeah, we have learned a lot about the vaccination with PRRS. We have learned about the different advantages, and we know that PRRS vaccination in piglets really gives value to our producers. Now, one of the challenges with piglet vaccination on PRRS is that we need to monitor the exposure of the natural challenge in the nurseries or in the growing pigs. And having the opportunity on having an early vaccination on those piglets will allow us to generate that immune response with enough time to generate that robust immunity and get those pigs protected.
So do you have a certain baseline then where you would decide, yes, we want to go in and vaccinate these pigs at day 1 or day 5? Or are there some herds where you might say, well, we can wait until day 14?
Yeah, the first question that we usually ask to producers or veterinarians is when those pigs are being exposed during the growing pigs. Many times we have the challenge that those pigs are getting exposed early in the nursery. And we have learned that with PRRS vaccination, we need at least 3 to 4 weeks to generate a full response. So having that opportunity on vaccinated early in the farrowing house will allow us to generate that immune response and that lead time to generate that robust immune response to those pigs.
Well, you talk about exposure. Aren't they getting some of that from the sows themselves?
Well, yeah, that's another important topic on PRRS control, because when we talk about PRRS control, we need to take this in a holistic approach, right? So sow herd stability, it's a huge part to have a success piglet vaccination. So yeah, sometimes we have sow herd stability that where it's leaking the virus through those pigs, and those pigs could be infected, right? And sometimes when we have not very strong stability in the sow herd, that is part also why we're seeing early exposure in the nursery. So if you are having a not very solid stability in the sow herd, or if you're coming from an outbreak, right, you need to monitor those piglets in order to really know when to vaccinate, at what time to vaccinate those piglets.
But the sows are vaccinated themselves.
Yeah, we include the sows also.
Wouldn't there be a concern about maternal antibody interference when you're vaccinating pigs that early?
Yeah, and that's something that we need to understand better. There's little information about maternal immunity impact on vaccination. Our experience in the field, actually we just published a study on early vaccination during ASB this year, with good results. In my personal experience, I will give more importance to the time where they are getting exposed and generate that lead time to generate the immune response over any potential maternal immunity impact on those piglets. We are conducting some studies to understand better what is the real impact of maternal immunity. There's a great opportunity area there to learn more, but what we know by fact is that vaccination timing for PRRS will rely on the timing of exposure. So we need to generate this lead time of 3 weeks to really get the full benefit of vaccination.
Now, it appears that the pork industry, even though it's battling PRRS, it's been blessed with some good modified live vaccines for managing PRRS. And from what I've seen in the research, I mean, the vaccines are pretty much the same in terms of, as far as lung lesion reduction and also the fighting off the challenge of the PRRS virus. Is that a correct assessment that they're all pretty much about the same?
Yeah, that is the correct assessment. Modified live vaccines that are already in the market are good vaccines, and they reduce. They have shown benefits on, all studies when they compare to non-vaccinated pigs. Now, there's some differences on label claims right now that we can maximize those features in the field. So label claims like duration of immunity, also in reproductive area and the respiratory area, and also the flexibility of early vaccination, which allow us, again, as I mentioned before, to have that flexibility to vaccinate those pigs in the right time at the right moment. Another also benefit of early vaccination is the benefit for the producer, because many times they prefer to handle the piglets in the farrowing house when they're processing, so they're doing that process anyway. Mm-hmm. So it's convenience also sometimes is a good part of this early vaccination alternative.
Which could translate into an economic benefit, I would think.
Yeah.
But it seems like when you're talking about early vaccination and duration of immunity, really talking about two ends of the spectrum there. Is it possible to have both?
Yeah, actually with confidence, at least with our tool, with our modified live vaccine, that we can vaccinate early, because we have a duration of immunity of 26 weeks. So we are pretty confident on that in that regard.
And why is duration of immunity so important? I know it's important with any vaccine, but particularly with PRRS. Why is it so important to go deep into the pig's life cycle?
Well, we can talk about this in two main areas. One is the reproductive clinical science, or the reproductive area. Mm-hmm. And in these regards, we need to learn more about PRRS immunity. So we're not sure, based on all the scientific information, really what part of the immune response protects or sows or piglets, right? But what we know is that the homogenizing the whole herd immunity will generate this immune response and will last for some weeks. But then the big challenge that we have in vaccinated breeding herds are rebreaks on vaccinated breeding herds. And we have learned that, and that's part also of the expectation. We know that vaccines don't prevent infection. So if we are in a high-dense area, high-density area, where we have lateral exposure, the sows, even if they're vaccinated, they will get infected, and we're going to have some clinical signs. The goal in this situation is to minimize the severity and duration of those outbreaks. And having a robust immune response and having this duration of immunity will allow us to achieve that goal in a better way.
Now, last year you wrote an excellent paper that advocated a 3-phase systematic approach to PRRS management. And it sounded simple. One was define and measure, one was analyze and improve, the other one was control. As I say, it sounds simple, but it's probably pretty complicated.
Yeah, it's complicated, but at the same time, I think that's a great approach to really evaluate the interventions that we're doing in our farms and make decisions in an ongoing basis. These kind of quality improvement tools like Lean Six Sigma and other philosophies, I think it's brings a lot of value to our customers, because they allow to to evaluate those interventions without interrupting the production system. So we're adapting those tools to their ongoing processes and be able to evaluate those interventions in a very objective way.
What's the one area where producers really need to buckle down and do a better job?
I think they're doing a great job right now. And I think the trend that the swine industry in general is going right now is more on the data analysis to make decisions and going from a reactive decision-making process to a proactive decision-making process, using all this amount of huge information that we're generating in farms right now, because right now we generate a lot of information, and but I think the opportunity here is how we manage all this data and information and convert this in a better way to make decisions and help the producers and veterinarians to make decisions based on their own information.
Now, over the past 2 years, there's been a lot of talk about the 174 strain of PRRS. Is that something that came and went, or is it still very much out there?
No, I'm pretty sure that it will stay for a longer time. This is one of the emerging PRRS viruses that we see every time in a while. I mean, I remember since many years, every certain time we have these kind of situations where we have an emerging PRRS virus, and that's normal based on the nature of the virus per se, right? We can talk about in the past about the 144, the 182, and others, and now this 174. I think it's gonna stay for a while in the farms.
And does that complicate the picture, or do the current vaccines have cross protection against 174?
With PRRS, everything is complicated, but no, yeah. Unfortunately, we, as part of our committed with our customers and producers, we were able to test our PRRS vaccine against this 174 virus. So we were blessed to have a great collaboration effort within Zoetis with R&D department, and also working in collaboration with customers and tech services to collect this virus, wild-type virus, and put this in a challenge model, testing our vaccine, finding similar results to other viruses. Significant reduction of long lesions, reduction of viremia, and improvement of average daily gains. So definitely we are confident also, and that was really a good study for ourselves as well, to gain confidence on our product, but also to show our customers that they can rely on our products. And we're confident that we can minimize significantly the economic impact with our PRRS vaccine and farms that are facing 174 in the growing pigs and also in the reproductive area as well.
Because that's where it's mostly a problem, is in the growing pigs, right, with the 174?
Well, it's both, and it's the most prevalent wild-type virus right now based on our diagnostic database. We're able to monitor also the different strains, PRRS strains, and we have seen that has been the most prevalent virus since 2 years and a half ago. So it's there, and I think it's gonna be, it's gonna stay longer with us. But fortunately, we have the right tools to deal with.
Well, that's comforting to hear, and I'm sure producers appreciate all your efforts.
Thank you.
We've been talking to Dr. Jose Angulo. He is a technical services veterinarian and PRRS specialist for Zoetis. Thanks again, Jose.
Thank you very much.